welcome back to Jumping the Broom Podcast.
Before we get into this episode, here's what we've been up to since episode 4.
So as you can see, we've been up to a lot since the last episode, but before we jump into everything, of course, we got to toast to the episode. So to episode 5.
Episode 5.
All right, so the first order of business, as always, you guys, is to follow us on all social media platforms at Jump the Broom Pod, all one word. That is for our Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell as well on YouTube. And let's jump right into it.
Yeah, before we do jump into it, I just want to thank Brittany and Melvin, our guests from last episode. It was fun. We had a great time. We'll have other couples come on as we go along, so just be on the lookout for that.
And we've actually had some people inquire about coming on, so that's very exciting too. So we have a lot of good things planned for you guys going forward. We just hope that you guys continue to enjoy the podcast, and of course, provide us with some feedback. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever the case may be. We appreciate all the feedback, but we appreciate all of the people who've been following us thus far, and hopefully you can tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to check us out. So, ready to jump into it?
I'm ready.
All right, so we're going to start off with our wedding updates. We're officially, how far from
5 months away, and I cannot wait.
5 months.
I cannot wait. I'm getting a little, impatient with the wedding planning. It's just getting a little stressful.
Absolutely. No, it definitely is, and that's what we're here for, to kind of give people, insights on the planning and leading up to, and what I'm saying, everything that glitters isn't gold. Like, you always think about, the end goal of the wedding, but the planning part can be very stressful. It can be fun at times too, but it's very time consuming. I'm a real stickler on things being organized and on time and everything.
And the biggest thing, it's expensive.
Yeah, for sure. Which we're going to talk about in our wedding plan update. So first and foremost, since we spoke last, Cherish went out and was searching for a wedding band for myself.
Yep.
So how was that experience?
It was cool. I mean, it's not the same thing as like how you would get an engagement ring for me. You know what the ring looked like. You knew what you wanted, and I mean, it was pretty simple. I think the hardest part, if I had to do like a hardest part, would be the quality of the ring. So like, of course, we went to like all types of jewelry stores. We went to like K's. We went to those stores and stuff, but you also went to like the higher end, I would say, jewelry stores, and that's of course where we found the better quality ring. So yeah, I mean, it's been pretty simple.
For me, I'm not really big on like expensive jewelry and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the type of person that needs the biggest, brightest, and all this other stuff. I told her, keep it plain. I don't want like any designs or diamonds or anything like that. And one thing that's kind of new and popular is like the black wedding band. And I'm not, dragging anybody that gets the black wedding band. It's just not for me. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I'm more of an old fashioned kind of guy. So I told her, like white gold is something that I'm interested in. Not really into like all of the new fads and everything. But shout out to any and everybody that did do that.
And our rings match. Well, yeah, they will match.
Yeah.
So that'll be
not in price though. Hey.
I mean, maybe the band. No, still not.
Nah. Hey. I need donations.
Donations. Gifts.
Donations. But no, so as far as that experience though, I mean, like, and I guess this is a good time to talk about, I don't think we've ever talked about this before, but have you ever like jewelry shop for a man?
Never. What? Never.
I don't know.
Why would I buy man jewelry? That's not like, I mean, what other
you
jewelry?
You can buy like a necklace or a watch, that's jewelry?
Nope. Never.
So I mean, it was a brand new experience. Did you feel like uncomfortable? Were you just unsure of yourself?
No,
like,
I think the people at the store that we went to, they were very helpful. Well, the guy, there was only one person, and he was pretty helpful. Like I said, you knew what you wanted. After we went to like the first store, you kind of knew like, okay, this is style ring I wanted. So after that, it was like, all right, we just need to find that same style wherever we go, and it just need to be quality. It need to be a good ring.
Right.
So, yeah.
Nah, it was super dope. I mean, I'm not used to wearing any type of
Well,
like
you better
rings.
get used to it because you're wearing it for the rest of your life. It's going in the casket, which.
What was the ring doing off your finger in the first place?
Damn, that's a good question.
Nah, it was weird to like try on rings though, because I felt like me not ever really wearing rings, like it felt uncomfortable or different. You know, like I've always grew up and like been in athletics, so like jewelry was never like a thing for me. You know what I'm saying? So a ring on my finger, it just like it felt out of place.
I never really wore rings either.
Really?
No.
Well, you better wear your ring. You got your ring on right now? Oh, okay. Hey, costs a lot of money. Costs a lot of money.
Oh my goodness.
But no, it was a super dope experience, and you know, a one time experience.
Cause it's the last time for me.
The only time.
Cause listen,
For you, for me.
it's the money for me.
And I'm glad you just brought that up, because the next thing we want to talk about as far as wedding updates is budgeting. Going into it, and correct me if I'm wrong, feel free to jump in. I was like the person who, you know, kind of handled like finances and stuff for us. So I'm not gonna lie. Going into it, I had this approach where I was like, well, we don't really have a budget.
Ooh, child.
Get it if you want it.
That quickly went out the window.
All the way out the window. You understand? And never came back. Never came back. And I think it's because I didn't really know how much stuff costs, right? And from the outside looking in, like you think, oh, we have this amount of time to get the money, we're going to be able to get it. But you never factor life into, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And it's not like we went through any like crazy crises or anything like that. But you also have to understand from a consistent perspective of still paying your regular bills, all of your financial obligations. And then you have outside things where majority of the money goes to the venue because of catering. But then, just like we spoke about, going to get rings.
Yeah.
Well, that runs a lot of money. Then you have to pay people to decorate. Well, that runs some money.
Yeah.
You got to pay an officiant. Like, you just got to, it's so many different photographer, videographer, streamer. You know what I'm saying?
Stuff
Like,
little as like menus.
yeah.
Cost like the things that go around the silverware, around the napkin, the rings.
Oh, yeah.
Like stuff like
rings,
that.
yeah.
Like you just never
And
knew.
what's the other thing called that we went up there for?
Oh, the
what is it called?
charger.
Chargers. What?
I didn't even know what that was.
Like,
I didn't know what that was. But our decorators asked us like, "What do you want in a charger?" I'm like, "What is a charger?"
exactly. And more
And
importantly,
that costs
the crazy thing, they're like, oh, it's only like $3 a charger. But when you have
time.
hundreds of people on your guest list, that adds up. So, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely, I would say, definitely understand your budget in the beginning. I think that was our first mistake.
Yeah.
And again, this is the free game that we're giving to you guys, because we have it all under control now, but you know, it took for us to start to actually see things add up, to see like, okay, we're a little bit over what we probably going to be able to do.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say understand what you have to spend, how much you can accumulate by saving, and I would say become very frugal in your spending.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140.
Honestly, because it's a very big day. It takes a lot of money. You want it to be what you want it to be. And you don't want money to kind of like be the reason that you don't have the things that you have. And realistically, we understand.
Yeah.
We're not rich. We're not even remotely close. But we have to understand that we want what we want, and those things cost money. So you have to be able to limit your spending habits outside of the wedding. You know, we like to have fun,
That's
so
hard.
we go out all the time.
That's the hard part, because you don't want to be suffering
Right.
because you're planning a wedding, but you do kind of gotta like pull back on your spending, and like we found ways to kind of pull back a little bit, like going to different things that don't cost as much as what we usually would do. But I guess like traveling has been.
Yeah. I was just about to ask you, like,
like-
what's the biggest thing you felt like kind of suffered the most financially?
I would say traveling.
Yeah.
I like to travel. I like.
She loves to go places.
Yeah, and I think that's really like, the hardest thing, traveling. And I haven't bought like a new pair of shoes or anything lately. Like things like that I used to do, I don't do. So.
I will say, you know, so I try to, you know, take my baby where she want to go.
Oh my gosh.
But I would say recently, right? It was something that it was a trip that your friends went on.
Oh yeah, Miami.
It was a trip her friends went on to Miami. Fellas, don't ever let your girl go to Miami.
Oh,
Okay,
please.
I'm just saying, throwing that out there. But
I cannot.
and I follow the rules. But we had a conversation, you know what I'm saying? Like, she wanted to go to Miami with her friends, and I was
Remember
like,
you
well,
wanted to go to Atlanta?
I did. I wanted to go to Atlanta to visit one of my friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, honestly, it might not be a good idea for us to take either trip because what we're trying to do financially, it just don't work.
You gotta factor in plane tickets, where you gonna stay, you know,
money
all
to
that.
eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You want to have money in your pocket. You want to have spending money. So that's another thing. So it was definitely budgeting is very, very big, y'all. I promise y'all we won't tell you anything we don't already know. And we sort of had to learn the hard way, not the toughest way, but the hard way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The hard way.
So definitely take care of your finances. Plan ahead. We got engaged in 2020. And now we're getting married in 2022. So basically a year and a half that we had to plan and come up with funds. And we're basically a year into that planning and saving. And we still, you know, have a substantial amount of time and money to go to save. So
do you think you would have waited?
What you mean?
Like waited as far as planning? Would you have waited to plan to like kind of like build as far as savings, then plan? Because I think that's what I would, if I could go back. I would.
But you also have to understand, when we got engaged, it was a pandemic too.
Oh yeah.
So,
that's true.
or it's still a pandemic, but that was like the real live meat and potatoes of the pandemic. And for me, I wasn't really sure about, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things because people were losing jobs and stuff like that. And I couldn't help but to be human. And I never was in risk of losing my job, but I was thinking like, what if?
Yeah, because it's been there before. We've been there before.
So I really had to like think about like how much money was I going to be able to save for a wedding initially. And I guess it's cool to bring up too, my goal was to only be engaged for 1 year and nothing more than that.
And I was just like, whenever we do it, I mean,
I'm so happy I didn't do that. Okay, because we'd be getting married on Instagram live. That'll be
not
it.
on Instagram live.
In the living room, y'all. Right where we at right now.
You was serious about it too. You was like, no, 1 year. I'm not trying.
All right, hold on, wait.
You was serious, and I kept trying to tell you like.
Can you do your impression? Can you do your impression? That was supposed to be me. Do your impression. No. Do your impression. Give the people.
That's how you were. You was so serious.
How was it? Go ahead.
No, I want to be engaged for only a year.
Does that sound like me? Do I make those type of faces? Her impressions are really the worst. I'm sorry. This is completely off topic, but I tell her this all the time. It's always like trying to do impressions.
But that's how serious you like. You was like pressing me out.
I never, because I didn't want to like. I didn't want to be. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't want to be one of those people who was just engaged like forever. You know, some people just be engaged. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's no movement, and you get comfortable, and there's no pressure to get in a wedding. And I didn't say, not to say that that's what the type of person you are, or that's who we're going to be, but I always wanted to make sure I stood clear of that. So I think that's what a lot of that was. But in reality, take as much time as you need. You know, to if you have a dream wedding or whatever, take as much time as you need because you don't know how much money that stuff is going to cost until you actually start putting the X's and O's on the paper. And no pun intended, a lot more O's than X's. Though, you know what I'm saying? A lot of commas and everything else. So.
And I think our venue again helped us out with a lot of stuff. It could have been more expensive as far as the little things, but they're kind of providing the little things like the floor wrapping of the dance floor, changing the color of your dance floor from black to white, like them kind of like putting those little things in for like a very low price from when we first looked at the venue. I think kind of helped us out too as far as like budgeting and all of that good stuff. So,
and again, you guys, maybe a select few, maybe all of you, will get a chance to watch us get married live. We'll have a live stream again with a full production, so it won't be like somebody on Instagram live. We're not talking about one of those. Talking about a live production.
You know, people usually say like, put your phones away. Like they make you. So I've been to a wedding before where they make you.
I want them to do that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. enjoy the moment. Like, and
Yeah.
it's not for. And granted, we'll have people that can, and we have a stream. Hell, you can join the stream if you want to watch it, but enjoy the moment. You know, limit distractions. Hey, and we're looking for a hashtag. Okay,
I
We're looking for a
know
hashtag.
that's so hard.
We're looking for a hashtag.
It's the last name. That's
It's the
why.
last name. I'm trying to tell you. And I don't even know if I want to give y'all my last name. Y'all gonna hear it. Y'all gonna figure it out anyway. Y'all gonna figure it out
But
anyway.
those who know my soon to be last name, his last name, help us out, cause
In the comments, man. Get in the comments and create us a
we need
hashtag.
a
We need a
hashtag.
hashtag. It's a long and weird last name. So
And I'm gonna
good
be
luck.
all jacked up with my name going forward. Woo,
Yeah, people
child.
barely can pronounce her first name.
I have 2 first names too.
And now that she has a complicated last name.
It's gonna be all types of I don't know your name. Can you just say your name so I can pronounce it right? That's what they're gonna say.
That's what they're gonna say. Shout out to them.
The for real.
Alright, so let's jump into today's topic for the episode.
So our topic for today is what is the disconnect between our generation and commitment when it comes to marriage? So what do you think about that? What do you think the disconnect is between the two?
I think it has a lot to do with. All right, so let me give y'all the real from my personal perspective. I think it's a lot with the idea of, and I think we had this term in the last episode, but why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? A lot of people in our generation and younger, like they're mingling, playing house, doing all of these things when there's no pressure for them to get married. You feel me? They're basically indulging in life with all of the benefits that come of being married, as far as, like I said, playing house, kids, everything else, and they're not necessarily putting the pressure on for marriage. And it's not a situation where it has to be religious or biblical, but you know, that's kind of where I come from, like the old fashioned, you know, like, you know, you build a home and you make that commitment, you know, and through God. I'm not pressuring anybody to, you know, follow what I follow or anything else like that. But that was just me. But that's what I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there is no real pressure for them to get married. And that's just one part. And I'll touch on a couple others first. But I guess that's just my, you know, initial reaction to that question. But what about you?
I kind of agree with you. I've always been the one to say, like, I didn't want to do certain things before marriage because I just, like kids, I didn't want to have kids before marriage. I didn't want to do those things because I just wanted to kind of build, like you said. And no disrespect to anybody who did that the opposite way, like had kids and they got married, because I mean, whatever works for you works for you.
Right.
But like, that's just something that I had only because like I've seen my mom be married and I've seen my dad be married, and it's just certain things that kind of I've watched growing up that I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, and it's just, that's just how I wanted it to go. But also I think that times are different all around. Like, women are making more money and men are kind of not like the main person in the household as far as making money and things of that nature. So it doesn't really, like, I don't know, I feel like our grandparents were kind of stuck in marriages. Meaning like they had no choice but to kind of stay in those things because the mom the mom didn't make the money, so they stayed into those marriages. I just think things are just different. Like, we're doing different things in our generation where we kind of just, marriage isn't our priority. Like, our careers are our priority now, and you know, different things are our priority. So a lot of people.
So do you agree with that though? Like, do you think that because our careers and everything are our priorities, and I'll give a rebuttal later, but do you agree that that's the way, or that's okay, like having your career first over a potential marriage?
I think it is. I think it's okay depending on your situation, if that makes sense, because I know like different professions take more time, more energy into things. So kind of like, for example, if you're trying to be a doctor, for example, and you know, you don't have time today, you don't have time to kind of build as far as like the home level, then you just won't have time to be doing those things like get married and things of that nature. But once you get to a point where you're in your career and you're comfortable, then you kind of want to do those things like get married, have kids, things of that nature. But sometimes it is kind of late in the game. But I mean, who's to say what's late? You know what I'm saying?
That nature. I think it has a lot to do with like the ignorance, and I'm not saying that necessarily in a derogatory way, because to be ignorant is just not to know something. but it's like the ignorance of building a household. Like a lot of people are about individual this and individual that. And, you know what I'm saying? Even if we want to tie it into what you were saying, get into the bag and all of this, that, and the fourth. But it doesn't mean you can't do that and have a significant other. I mean, life is all about balance. And for some people, that's harder to do and maintain. But I do feel like when it comes to that disconnect, I just feel like we're not really up on game as far as how important it is. Like I feel like it's kind of put on the back burner because of, you know, what I mentioned earlier, where it's like it's me and you already. Like marriage just a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? Like
that stresses me out really bad.
I saw something on Twitter. I saw a quote on Twitter though. I thought it was very good though. And it was like people say marriage is just a piece of paper, but so is money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, look how y'all value that. Look how y'all go hard for that. So you should be going hard for marriage. But I do think it's a lost cause in our society about how important marriage is in a household and what it is as far as maintaining a family. Like anybody can be because you're single until you marry. Like I don't care what nobody say. Like
wait a minute.
Legally,
I mean taxes wise, but
which is legal.
But
legally,
you.
No, I'm just saying. But you can't like from. You could say marriage is a financial decision or whatever, but it's still about, again, creating that household. Like I think we kind of lost sight of what marriage is and how important it is. Like how important it is to building a house and building a home.
Well, let me ask you this. So money has value, don't you think?
Money is value, yes.
Right. So what value does marriage have?
I just told you.
And what is it?
I mean, I think it's about the structure of your household. Like,
so you think marriage gives you your structure of your household?
Does it give you? No, because you have to have a foundation, and first and foremost, and you build upon that structure. I think it's the apex of the structure. Like that's when you kind of have reached, you know, the pinnacle of that relationship is marriage. It's just like when you go to school. You go to school to graduate. You date to marry. You get what I'm saying? You work to get promoted or to get money. Like there's always an upward trend in everything that you're trying to do. So the same thing with marriage. Marriage is, I don't necessarily want to call it the finish line because your relationship is never finished, but that's the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the promotion. That's everything that you've worked for and you've built a foundation for. So I think just because of that, people have lost sight of how marriage coincides with everything else in life, just like working or just like going to school. Like you do it to advance yourself. And I don't think a lot of people in our generation and younger really take pride in that anymore. It's just like we together, what we need to be married for. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I asked you this before, and I think we spoke to Brittany and Melvin about it. Like, how would you feel if we weren't getting married? If it was just a long relationship? Would you like that?
No, I just would feel like a hamster on a wheel. It was just like the same. Like,
exactly.
So
it's about progression, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like it shows progress. It shows commitment. And again, I don't want to make it religious or biblical, but you know, for a lot of people who grew up in maybe a Christian household or in a religious household, regardless, you know, marriage was your illustration of commitment, right? Like that, I'm so committed that I want to, you know, make this a bond that's forever, an everlasting bond. You feel what I'm saying? So now we're legally bound. And we share the same last name or our kids and everything else. That shows that we're one. So I mean, again, I don't want to get too deep into it because I
think it's just like how you were brought up.
Right, but I'm saying like we're making a general statement, right? Like we could talk about, you know, class and middle class, low class, poverty, all of this thing. But we're just making a general statement as to why is it that it seems like millennials and we'll say like Generation Z, you know, why is it not such a big deal now? And as we're going towards marriage, I think we do have an understanding of those things, and we're not, you know, PhDs in this subject or anything like that, but we're living our life and creating our story, writing our own story, creating our own narrative, and we're keeping marriage at the forefront of that. You know what I'm saying? And with a lot of people these days, that's just not the case. And it's not to say that y'all are doing anything wrong. I mean, anybody that's doing that, like Cherry said, was right for you was right for you. So like we're not here to judge. We're not saying this is the way you're supposed to do it. We're just trying to generate good conversation as to why we don't see it as much, because we were used to our grandparents and parents being married. Like we were, even if you had a separate household where your mom was married to someone, your dad's married, you're just used to seeing that. Like that was, again, like the goal there. So I was just very interested to see, you know, where that went with that.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you.
I like when you agree with me. See? Oh, and I'll wait till good marriage already. You know what they say? Happy husband, happy life.
No, that's not what they
That's
say.
definitely what they
not
say.
what they say.
Write it down, quote it. Happy husband, happy life. For sure.
I'm just gonna take a sip. All right, so why do you think that people don't stay married as long as they did, like with our grandparents? Not our parents, but our grandparents actually used to stay married forever. So why do you think, from like our parents on down, that people don't stay married as long?
All right, now of course that can be a laundry list of things, right? Like, I mean, some people outgrow each other, even in a marriage. You can outgrow one another, and it's just not what you think. Now, again, depending on how you value marriage, and I think that it was more of an old-fashioned approach, like you just mentioned with our grandparents. Sometimes, once you're married, you're married.
That's it.
Like, it's literally, you know, to love and to, what is it?
To love and to hold.
Yeah, sickness to health, till death do us part. Like, they took that literally, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I don't care, we don't have to be in the same room, we don't have to like each other, but we gonna stay married. That was an old-fashioned approach. I do think now with, you know, the environment that we're in and the culture that we've created, it's all about individualism and, you know, being happy and, you know, doing what you want to do. And if what you want to do is not with being with that person, then that's typically fine, or viewed as fine in the public's eye.
Do you agree with that?
Right now,
Like,
I mean, I think. Wait, are you saying do I agree with being married forever? Or
no, do you agree with? So, which one do you?
Do I
agree
believe
with?
in divorce? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, kind of. So, okay, so let me direct the question. So, do you agree with our grandparents as far as like once you're married, that's it? Or do you agree with the times now where if I'm not happy, I'm not happy, and that's it, I'm divorcing?
I agree, the latter. So
Okay.
definitely. I mean, I think there's things that can cause divorce. For me, I'm a big stickler on trust and loyalty, and you know, if extreme events occur where those things are betrayed, then I gotta be out. That's me personally. I'm not saying that's the way everybody should be, but that's just my personal belief. I do hold marriage to a very high standard, the highest standard there can be. But I'm also, again, all about everything that marriage stands for. So once you kind of go against the grain with that, I don't feel like I want to be a part of that with anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we have that problem at all. But I'm just saying, that's just what I believe. So when a person leaves a marriage, I'm not the type to say, oh man, y'all should have stayed together. Y'all should have tried to work it out. I'm like, look, if it wasn't working and you got to remove yourself from a situation, that's just what you have to do.
Yeah. And that's how things are different. Like when our grandparents were married, it was literally like type of things can happen, like domestic violence, infidelity, all those things can happen, and they would literally still stay in a marriage because it was literally to death do us part.
Yeah.
So it's just now I think people have found themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a case where I'm just staying with you because we're married. No, if I'm not happy or if things are going on or whatever, I'm out. And I think that's the right way to go.
No, most definitely.
Because I'm not just staying just because either A, and like I said before, in the household normally was the man was the breadwinner, you know, the woman.
The dynamics of the relationship.
Yeah, the dynamics was different. So for a woman to try to divorce a man was way harder because where could they go? What could they do? They probably either wasn't working, they were raising the kids, or you know, things like that. So the dynamic was different. So they would accept for the man to cheat or accept for the man to do certain things because what was I bringing to the table? You know, I wasn't working, I was raising the kids, yada yada. So I think those dynamics are different now.
Nah, absolutely. And I guess like with now, I just genuinely believe like if you're not happy, then you have to change that. Like, I'd rather go through a bad breakup and be unhappy momentarily to find happiness later on than to go through a lifetime of unhappiness.
Yeah, because that's miserable.
Yeah, like who wants to go through a miserable situation where you have to see that person every day, be around that person, still cohabitate? Like those type of things, I'm not doing. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to those who do and don't. Again, this is not us passing judgment, just giving our personal opinions like that. Trust and believe.
And that's the thing. Like, I've seen 2 divorces. Both my mom and my dad. I've seen 2, and it's like ridiculous how people just, one minute you'll see them like so in love and just like, and then the next minute they like they hate each other.
And one thing I think we have to understand too is like, as a human, you're constantly evolving. Like, you're always growing. You're never a finished product. So even in a marriage, you are still, as an individual, changing. So as you're changing as an individual, you're still growing together. So those changes might be something that you don't like in another person. You know, it's always, well, you used to do this and you used to do that.
But you're changing.
But I'm changing. And it's not, sometimes it's for better, sometimes it's for worse. But that's just the evolution of the human race. Like, you're never going to be the same throughout the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Some people have really strong habits and everything. But every decade, I promise you, you're going to be a different person. You're probably going to be a different person. Hopefully you're more mature and, you know what I'm saying, more understanding. But you will change, and that's just the fact of life. All right, y'all. So as y'all know, we like to round out the episode with a little bit of fun. Of course, we're competitive, so we got to do something where a winner is going to be established. Me. But we're actually going to play this game, and we're actually going to delve into another topic of questions as well. So I'm going to let Cherish do that as I start off Jenga, the champion.
The loser.
Go ahead, man.
So, what are your expectations for life after May 14th? Our marriage day. Life
after marriage. Some things I don't want to say on the podcast, you know what I'm saying? But I expect, my first expectation, honestly, is to focus on building a family. I think that that's something that I've always been like very strong about. I'll apply a little pressure right there, you know what I mean? I think, starting a family and getting a house. Currently we don't have a house, y'all. Sorry, I told y'all we was poor. But
you're loud.
I think that that's one of the things. But as far as like our relationship, I expect us to, you know, continuously build on a stronger bond. We have a very strong foundation, and not be like these Jenga blocks that she gonna knock down, which is, you know, a little shaky.
First of all,
but I think I think our relationship is gonna feel like it went to the next level. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna start to really understand how to love one another on another level. But that's my expectation. But what about you? Is my go?
Yeah, it's your go.
So why are you touching the block? Y'all saw her cheating, right? Y'all saw her cheating, right?
I would say my expectations would be to first, of course, either or, honestly, because because my 30th birthday is in June, okay? So, I mean, of course, like, after that, I think starting a family, as far as, like, kids could happen. I'm not rushing to get a house, only because I know what house we want, and I know that can't be rushed. So I think that if kids come before the house, I wouldn't be angry. You're cheating.
I'm not cheating.
I think you are.
It's on camera. I'm not cheating.
But yeah, like, if kids happen before a house, I would not be mad at that at all. Right. But of course, you know, you always want like the house so you can have the kids. But like, if that happened before, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I think I'm ready once, you know, those things happen, as far as like our wedding. You know, I just want to get 30 and then boom, you can shoot up the clip.
So what do you think is going to be like the most difficult adjustment after marriage? Be careful.
I know.
I'll move my glass.
I mean, I don't think anything is going to be necessarily difficult. I think that getting our stuff together as far as finances and, you know, all those big things, I think will be something that we need to work on going into. Not saying that we're not good now, but like, just we need to be better as far as like our savings. We recently did some things as far as us going as far as our finances and stuff like that. We recently did that. So we just need to work on that, I think, as far as don't cheat. Oh, you was close. That was close.
That means you gonna knock it down.
Nah.
And don't forget, y'all, what's the rule? If you knock it down, you have to build it back up, right? So
that is wow.
y'all see her look. Yeah.
Ooh. But yeah, I think that oh shucks.
You think that what? Come on, you can talk and play at the same time.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think that I think we're on the same page as far as like building a family afterwards and kind of just getting our stuff together as far as finances, because you don't want to bring a child into this world and you don't have at least those things together. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
so
completely understandable.
I think,
you know what I think? Another thing I'm definitely looking forward to: the honeymoon. Not because like
we just haven't traveled
get y'all
in a
mind
while.
up together. But yeah, we haven't traveled in a while. Like, of course, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, we have, really went down on our spending. We've, focused more on saving and things that we've had to sacrifice and stuff like traveling. And we have a pretty good idea of where we want to go for our honeymoon. So, it's going to be, I'm not going to say super expensive, but it's going to be something that we probably wouldn't have done, you know what I'm saying, no time soon. So
listen, thank goodness for wedding gifts, early wedding gifts.
Hey!
Because if we had this early wedding gift, we would be gone.
This is true. Hey, listen, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all enjoy the podcast, y'all rock with us, and y'all want to get us a gift, it could be monetary. You feel me? That's what we
it needs to
prefer.
be. I don't want no toasters. I don't want no blenders.
Hold on. Rule is you can't go. Y'all see her cheating.
How am I cheating?
Hold on. Listen. You're not supposed to go on the first 3 rows.
Who said that? Let me see the rules.
Who said
that? You need to put that in it.
Bro, it's a rule, bro.
No, it's not I thought it was the first 2 rows.
Of course you did, because that's why you went for the 3rd one. But I'm going to let you go, though.
All right,
but y'all tell me, that's not how you play Jenga, right? You can't do the first 3 rows, bro. You can't do the first 3 rows. But it's all right, though. I'm going to let you live. Because I'm the GOAT. And when I win, you feel me, you going to be complaining.
Oh, my goodness. But yeah, and, I have my bucket list for after our wedding.
Because you trying to mess me up.
No, I'm not.
One hand at a time, y'all.
You should be able to listen.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and lose the game. Nah. You know the rule is if you touch it, you got.
That's not true, because if that was the case, you would have had.
I'm just saying, you talking about rules being technical.
Nah, that's not the rule, bro. Go ahead, man. What you was about to say?
Now you want to say I want to see.
What you about? Stop shaking the table. You keep hitting. Stop hitting the table. But
yeah, I have my bucket list of things that I want us to do after we get married. So,
Listen.
And you said everything I brought up so far. You said we can do.
Y'all here actually be just you know what I'm saying?
Happy wife, happy life.
That's not the saying. Go ahead, just push it over. Why don't you? What are you doing?
I can't find nothing.
You're not good at the game, bro.
No, you just.
Look, ever since I told you, look, there you go with that 3rd one again. That's the 3rd one, bro. Oh, nah. That's the 3rd one, though.
No, you said we can do this one.
Go ahead. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing. Y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all see how I just have to just let her have it because she will cheat to win.
Oh, my God.
She will cheat to win.
No.
I can't really see.
So what's the first thing that you think you want to do once we get married? Other than like honeymoon, like once we come from back from the honeymoon, like what's the first thing you want to do?
I want to take pictures. Like I know we're gonna have wedding pictures, but I want to have pictures like as a married couple, like professional pictures, and like put them on the wall, like get a nice size one and put it like in the house.
Really?
Like that has to be our first like legit picture as a married couple outside of the wedding. Like the wedding don't count; those are wedding pictures. I'm talking about a picture of a married couple.
You gonna have Bentley in the picture?
Yeah, that's my man. So man, y'all still ain't met Bentley yet. We actually gonna put Bentley on the episode again. That's our dog, aka our son. He a miniature schnauzer too. So for any dog lovers out there, shout out to y'all, man. My man Bentley is he's a tough little cookie right there, man. He's a feisty dog. Who y'all think gonna win this game? Cause it's getting a little intense. It's been rocking a little bit.
I think I'm gonna win.
Yeah, if you had $1 for every time you thought something like that, you'd be rich. You know what I'm saying? She been losing on the podcast, right? Y'all realize all the games.
No, we won the last game. Me and Brittany.
I'm talking about an individual game. You lost in Uno. You lost in Connect 4. You got smoked in Connect 4. What else you lost in?
Not Jenga.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Don't fall.
Oh man.
Alright. What is going on here?
You about to lose. That's what's going on. Let's go.
Why you clapping?
Come on. Go
Why
ahead
you
and
clapping?
lose. Go ahead and lose.
I'm not gonna lose.
You are.
Why is the block so hard to pull out?
Oh, you got
Oh,
lucky.
yeah, that's what they all say.
You got lucky.
That's what they all say. That's what they all say. That's what they all say.
Oh my god.
Make it fall. Make it fall.
It was at this moment Cherish knew she messed up.
Le who? The her.
The champ is here. The champ is here. Love you, boo. Good job. Mwah. Thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of Jumping the Broom Podcast. We hope y'all enjoyed it.
All right.
As y'all can see, I won, just like all the time. Make sure y'all click that subscribe, like, and notification bell on your
Dang.
screen. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Jump the Broom Pod, all one word. We appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Winners win, losers lose. I can't explain it, but winners win.
Oh
Losers
my
lose.
gosh.
Anything you want to say to people before we get out of here, man?
I didn't think I was gonna lose this game.
You never think you're gonna lose, but again,
Dang.
winners know they're gonna win. I knew I was gonna win. Like I said at the beginning.
That's because you cheated the whole time.
What else you lost in? Probably
Not
everything.
Jenga.
Probably
Not
everything.
Jenga.
Till next week, y'all. Or till next episode, should I say.
Peace.
See y'all later.